Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Yes, we'll be talking about that this morning, and we get into that conversation very shortly with Dr. Duncan Ojwang. But before that, I know what you're doing at this moment. You're feeling a certain type of way. Maybe the long weekend got to you, and maybe you were out too long, feeling a little bit pain in your chest, or you feel like some symptoms are really getting the better of you. Do not, and I repeat, do not search your symptoms. Step away from the big G on your phone. At the moment, what I need you to do is to find a specialist clinic next to you, healthcare provider. Find a trusted healthcare provider near you, and the Aga Khan University Hospital has brought specialized world-class care to your neighborhood, all right? So you don't have to go to Mr. G, you can actually go to this facility because you'll be able to find what is on offer in terms of specialist clinics, diagnostics, and pharmacy services, ensuring you and your family receive the best. So see your cardiologist, your pediatrician, your gynecologist, your family physician, your surgeon, your diabetologist, your gastroenterologist, your neurologist, or your pulmonologist, among other consultants near your home. Near your home. So for families on Gong Road is who we're focusing on and saying you can go to any of these in your environs. We got you with medical centers at the following locations: Prestige Plaza, the Valley Arcade Shopping Center, Bina Complex in Karen, T-Mall, Gong Road. Rather in Gong Town. So visit any Aga Khan University Hospital Medical Center in your hood today or call 0730 011 888. That's 0730 011 888. The Aga Khan University Hospital, world-class care here and now. Sawa. Problems sorted, isn't it? All right. Don't figure it out on your own, but you can actually go to a center near you today. Dr. Duncan Ojwang is with us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Tari.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good morning to our viewers. I'm okay.
Good.
A little cold, but I'm okay.
Aye, all right. Yeah, well, it's if you're near Ngong Road later on, then you feel like maybe you need to get a checkup. The Aga Khan University Hospital has said, you know what, you can actually come and get that sorted out. Sawa?
I'm sorted.
Okay, fantastic. We're looking into a number of things this morning. Reform, accountability, or political control when we're asking about the locking, or rather when we're asking about locking governors in. But before we do that, Dennis has taken us to a very interesting country.
Yeah, Eritrea. Total population of 6 million people. Gained independence in 1993 from Ethiopia after 30 years of war. And it has no official language. They speak Tigrinya, Arabic, and English, and that mostly is used in the professional spaces. And they have a graveyard that is called a tank graveyard as a personal reminder, just outside Asmara, the capital, as a reminder of the war and where they are today. But the proverb that you get from the country: a good road is used a second time. A good road is used a second time. How would you interpret it?
That's a good road is used a second time. We are the Swahili version of chema chajiuza kibaya chajitembeza. That you do not need to oversell a good idea. It actually markets itself. It attracts and it speaks for itself. And probably a lie requires a lot of patchwork going forward to make sure it does not fall apart. And therefore, that road could be road to life, that road could be road to development, that road could be a road. Road is leading us somewhere, is it? To a destination. And it has worked before. Why fix it if it's not broken?
Well said, well interpreted.
Indeed. So a couple of weeks ago, governors and senators were in a bit of a kerfuffle. And the question was, okay, so are you going to come and answer questions by the pick and the pack about how you've spent the country's resources? And it actually became man of war. Because people were dragging each other literally, and the question as to whether you're going to come and tell us how you've used funds, because devolution didn't just break the country up into bite-sized morsels to allow then for governance and resource allocation, but what it did is it also demanded a process whereby you're given those resources, but then you will come and tell us how you spent them, because the demand of the Constitution is prudence in expenditure. Now, that became a bit of an issue because governors are asking, who are you to ask me, kind of thing. But led by Kajwang at the Public Accounts Committee and led by Senator Mohammed at the Public Investments Committee, they said, you know what, you will talk to us about how you've done this. Now, when we see that the political side is played in this accountability question, what are we really talking about here? Is it just another game, or are we saying there really is a demand on governors as agents of devolution to ensure that the country's resources, being ring-fenced, are also then used prudently? Which one is it?
They have settled right now, isn't
Yes,
it?
they have settled, and they've agreed to come back. I don't know why they had to agree, but they did.
But you're right that we saw the drama unfold. In my view, when somebody calls you and you second guess whether I should go or not, okay, I'll come, but don't be annoying. It shows you that probably they don't have much leverage over you. Because if the police summons one person, they will always try to avail themselves. In fact, the question has been, don't come arrest me, call me and I'll come. But here is an issue where somebody is summoned and they're saying, make me. Make me. Catch me if you can, kind of a situation. And then the standing order say, we have a power to summon you. We are at the level of a court. If court gave somebody a date, usually they show up. And so it probably talks of beyond the individual, because we're looking at the institutions and respect for institutions. It probably talk of the weak leverage that the Senate have. And remember the issue of is this dog able to bite? Because you'll not be playing the game that governors did, where now senators said to resort to self-help and arrest them physically in order to bring them before them. So it appears that governors found a loophole or realized that, I don't have to.
Okay.
And somehow we can get away with it. And they did get away with it until negotiation. And I believe that the firebrand and the toning down will happen because there was concession both sides. So, Senate was in a very hard place. Of course, remember, as a countermeasure, they also said we are not going to pass revenue sharing bill.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because why I led with this is because that's what the Constitution demands. But when you look at the political games that may be played after that, some of these governors won't vie for another term, but they want to come back as senators tomorrow. So when you now look at the political games that are being played, and in terms of a bill that has been, I believe it's in for, I'm not sure what reading it's on right now, but this bill essentially wants to stop governors from vying for other seats and say that futurely, once you're done at the county boss, then thank you. Essentially, come and go and sit down. But we've seen that a lot of governors at the moment have either expressed their desire to or will probably put themselves up for these positions, whether it is as a member of parliament or as a senator in the very near future. Do you see a game afoot?
Yeah, so there's the constitutional amendment that bill, it's a member's bill in the Senate that tells the governor or try to balance and say, immediately you exit as a governor, you need to take a 5 years break. So it's not permanent ban, but take 5 years break before you come to the Senate if you succeed, because the rationale is that we might need you to answer some issues on how you performed and accountability, that is our functions, and therefore when you immediately come to the Senate, when your file comes or when your issue is before us, then you can meddle and it does not augur well with the issue of separation of power. And so the rationale that they are giving is for accountability. We need you to chill for 5 years as we check on whether there is any issue pending, so that when your issue comes, it can come without any undue influence from you as a member of the Senate. So that's the rationale.
Yeah.
And they are saying, accountability is important. There could be ongoing investigation that can overlap beyond your term, and therefore stay away for 5 years. Yes.
Terry, we look at even the bill that is being proposed right now by the private member, and it talks about accountability. That means even the law itself recognizes the importance of accountability, and Senate being there and checking the counties and their position under the law. It's clear that governors know they ought to appear even while they are in office, which then asks the question, do governors feel as if the law is a suggestion? Is this a problem with the political class? Because the law is clear. You ought to appear for accountability queries for you to clear your name.
No, the law. Why do we differentiate law from suggestions or good advice? It's because the law can consequence. So I don't think governors are dumb to play with what can harm them. So they have probably tested the veracity of the law and realized that you bite, you back. Yes, you can scare me, but probably you don't have much teeth. So it's not a matter of what makes people follow the law. Some people are moral. They will say, I'll do it because it's legal. Some people will do it because I don't want to go to jail, is it? I will have killed you, but because I don't want to go to jail, or I don't have money for bail, or I don't want to go through court process, I'll let you go this time. That is the law. That's why law compels that we follow it. So then there is a certain weakness then if the law does not compel us, if it is left up to our morality. And of course, there were counter-accusation on why we have not come negotiate with us. And but at the end of the day, this part of the problem is was Senate strongly anchored in our constitution. Remember we had an issue of, is it the upper house? We had an issue of the National Assembly is clearly defined and has a lot of serious roles. The Senate, including all money bill, goes to the National Assembly. The Senate, and there was an issue of all the bills must come to the Senate on money bill, and they have been in court about their role. So their place is not very clear. But now the complication is this. The Constitution provide the right to vote or to vote for whoever you want to vote for. Especially if you look at Article 38, it says that people have a right to run for an office without Article 38 provide that every adult citizen has the right without unreasonable restriction. Is this unreasonable restriction? Could it be done otherwise? How about the person who was the PS, who is coming to Senate or want to come to Senate? How about the CEO of Kengen, of all these other parastatals? How is it only the governor's cases that run beyond their term? Because at this time he's not a governor, is it? How about the president? That you are supposed to oversight if they come to Senate. So how about the rest of these other people? And remember, for example, the law have made it that public servants resign 6 months to election.
Yes.
You can see and argue whether that is reasonable so that you don't take advantage of your office. It's banning people for 5 years. reasonable, because the Constitution is saying without unreasonable restriction. Is that a reasonable restriction? Is there a better way of doing it to protect those people's right, but not just those people, the right of voters? Really, it's the right of voters to vote for whichever idiot they choose to, because that's how democracy works. So you have restricted the right to vote for this person by saying they must take a chill pill for 5 years. You are not asking the CSS to do that.
Right. What maybe to then be able to understand it a little bit more is that what would that, moment in the chiller essentially achieve? So if it is something that you can see, it's tangible, you can understand, this is the reason why it's being asked, then perhaps it would make sense why it's not then applicable across board to CSs, to PSs, So what is that thing that, from your understanding, that would be achieved if somebody was out in the cold, essentially, for some time, and then be able to come back later, that would then be not reversible?
The amendment to the Constitution through Article, I think, 256, because it's trying to go through Parliament, and it is a long process, by the way. It will have to go to both houses. It will need 2/3. It will have to take 90 days before it is mentioned from the first reading. So it's probably running out of time if the goal was to do it for 2027 election. It might run out of time or just come barely towards election. Now, the goal is clear that, you know what, we are oversighting you. When you become a senator, you have also crossed to the other side of oversighting. Now, what do we do with your files? Yes. What do we do with your files? You had an issue, you have not explained how you bought this pen for 10 million or whatever, but now you are a senator. So the assumption is that when you are here in this house, you'll be able to influence, and you influence your case. And because of that, we might lose the oversight, and there will be no clear distinction between the hunted and the hunter. But to be honest, doesn't it just look like a weak argument? Because you are making an assumption that I have a case. You are making the assumption that that case cannot be concluded within my term. You are making an assumption that I will come to Senate and I will interfere with that case. Are there less intrusive ways, for example, saying if it's your case, which conflicts of interest are there in organization? And there are probably ways of curing if there is an issue that conflicts you, if it's your case, for example. Maybe is there committees that we might say you should not be a member if you came from devolution or governor, than to say totally you cannot run. And then remember, there are other agencies and independent agencies that investigate. So it's not just the Senate. We know there is ESCC. We know there is DCI. So what do I do? I don't have a case, remember. If they said if you have a case, then don't run. It will make sense. This case is probably not known by this time. They're just saying something might come up. And because something might come up, stay away for 5 years. How does my staying away going to interfere with the and remember, I have a right to be, it's investigation.
Right.
It's not conviction.
But can you presume such a thing? I mean, because it seems like as though this is then set on presumption that it's possible that something could creep up from your however many terms that you were serving at the county. Right. So let's keep you out in the cold in case something comes up. It doesn't sound to me like you can use something as solid as constitutionalism to then guess whether there will be a case that comes up in the future.
That
on
you
that
don't know
level,
about.
that you don't know about.
Yeah.
On that level, it seems a bit unfair to then be able to cast a blanket condemnation on everybody. Because as we can see, as evidenced by the pick and the pack, that there are some counties who actually come forward and there is not a stain on the county boss. They have come, they have given their documentation, everything is given the green light, they go ahead. Never mentioned in an absorption report by the Control of Budget. Never mentioned for queries of audit from the Auditor General's office. So then why would you put a blanket condemnation on everybody and say then you don't have an opportunity to run, knowing full well that the Constitution allows you, after having been done with your terms as governor, for example, to run? Had it not been the case, a lot of these folks would not be putting their hats into the ring. So it seems a bit foolhardy to say, well, let's say that you can't in case we might find something against you so that you'll be out of office. Can we work on presumption like that?
And they have included both houses, so the National Assembly and the Senate.
And the Senate,
and
yes.
the County Assembly.
Yes.
In case you want to go low, you can't go lower
Yeah.
than it, higher than it, but you can be probably a CS or something. I don't know whether you can be nominated. Probably not.
It's not also clear on whether you can run for presidency.
Presidency is not implicated.
Implicated,
But you are talking of the cost benefit of that bill.
Yes.
That what are we giving
Right.
and what are we gaining
Yeah.
by having that bill?
Sounds to me like there are a number of other things that you can focus your attention on that the country needs at the moment, not
No, because it is almost double assumption that I will have a case. We have not seen much of former governors coming before the committees.
Yeah.
We usually see current account. And probably, I don't know what Kenyans feel, but Kenyans have also not seen much fruits of this coming. I come from Homa Bay. Senator Ojwang is the chair of PAC. Awiti was my governor. And you just need to say Awiti was my governor.
and Dennis is already laughing.
Wanga is now the governor. As my senator,
Yes.
have I seen the value of this oversight?
Yeah.
That now you want to do remotely after 5 years after they leave office. Now you can't do it when they are in office. We have not seen much value in it. And remember, you are important, but you can do impeachment. You can do other issues, and you can also find a way of sequestering or curing if somebody come and there is a case about them. But we have not seen many of that. But even more concern, as you are hinting it, we have seen constitution being amended to deal with political issues or somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the history of Kenya. Before the 2010 constitution, we had 33 amendments to deal with Jaramogi, to deal with you miss parliament for this many times, you go home and the government can arrest you, to give president more powers, to abrogate the house. We have seen amendment so the constitution, the challenge with amendment in the constitution is that Africa usually starts with very good constitution.
Yeah.
Even Uganda started with a very good constitution. Then amendment for term limit.
Yeah.
Then amendment for this. So amendment becomes suspicious, especially to make sure they're not self-serving. So in this case, for example, you know the case, the attempted amendment of the Constitution, and there have been several attempts to amend our Constitution, starting from BBI, that I was involved in. But court said there is no basic structure beside Article 255. We were arguing that there can be unconstitutional amendment. For example, if I amend the Constitution to say, from today henceforth, this Constitution is not constitutional, then I have killed the Constitution. So there are amendments that we were arguing that go so deep that they're really not amendment, but they push aside the Constitution. The Supreme Court said, you cannot tell us that there is unconstitutional amendment. The path to amendment is in the Constitution. Once it is followed, it's okay. Yeah. But we have seen constitutional amendment that have exposed the Constitution, have been self-serving, have made the Constitution more vulnerable, And so that is the discussion, because we know our history as Kenya, that sometimes constitution is done to weaken transparency, independent oversight, to circumvent a political situation, and to self-serving. So that is the question. When you look at a lot of people online, they are wondering, is this such a situation where, yes, mmekozana? And look at the history of governors' relationship with the Senate. At the beginning, somehow people felt that Senate was more powerful than governors. And so our inaugural heavyweights went for Senate. Then they realized, wait a minute, I'll rather be the one doing and being asked to, being oversighted than just saying I'm oversighting and I don't have this big budget. Then when the time changed, we now saw the heavyweight going for governor. The likes of Ngilu, the likes of Kiraitu, because before they were in the Senate. And they thought this is the glamour, because I think in the U.S. Senate is such a big deal. So then they said there were amendments to say, in my oversight, I need to be part of making decision in the county. There was such an amendment where the senators wanted to say that the budget and whatever in the county, because that's where resources are. And resources follow function, follow the money. So this annoying governor that is refusing to come to you, has all the money, is on the ground, and threatening maybe even to kick you out of your Senate seat.
And you see, Dr. we look at, even when you talk about audit queries as we speak, there are bodies already within the Constitution that would deal with that. And the first line of action is the county assemblies. That means in every, the 5 terms of a governor, every budget year, there is room for county assemblies to audit the governor as time goes. We do not have to wait until after 5 years for us to say there is a query with the governor, the reason why they need to stay out for 5 years. We also have the control of budget, the Auditor General, and also Senate itself, EACC, everybody, to ensure that all these audit queries are dealt with within the term of the governor in office, which will then determine whether they are fit to run for office, because we already have issues on their name or issues that they have to respond to. So as we speak about even the amendment you're talking about, perhaps what we need to look at is how we will make the county assemblies and all the other bodies have more teeth to bite than just being the barking dogs.
And I saw in the Senate retreat, they said, and rightly so, Senator Sigei said the county assembly needs some capacity building, because the reality on the ground is that governors are too strong, and people are not seeing much of their oversight, because money is powerful. And so, but are the senators overreacting? That's the question. Of course, we have not seen senators vote. Public have not given. It's a member of, I think Kirinyaga senator was one of the senators, bill. Are they setting a clear rule? But be as it may, is it fair to say, you know what, you have been run for governor. Don't make this a career. Of course, the Constitution will say every Kenyan have a right to run for every office. Is it also fair to say, you know, once you have been a governor, please give us a break? We know you have a lot of influence on the ground. You are His Excellency there. Do not come to the Senate.
Is it? Is it fair? Is it fair or constitutional to say to a governor, you've sat in, I don't know, take your pick, Nairobi for 10
Very
years.
powerful.
Okay. You sat there for 10 years. So we're saying, and according to the Constitution, you can't sit for more than 2 terms. Is it fair, constitutional, maybe you should use constitutional as opposed to fair, that you then say, actually, no, we can go back to fair, that you then say, well, you've been here for 10 years, give us a break. Let somebody else come and be senator or be member of parliament or whatever. Is it?
You know what is fair is not necessarily legal.
True.
Yeah, the
Constitution doesn't
standard of constitutional legality is very low.
Yeah.
So it might even be fair, but is it legal?
Yeah.
That we can do that. We might feel that you have done the county, take a break, give others opportunity. For example, there's a time that court agreed with the Constitutional Commission when the people to be nominated included the president and the deputy president in party list. Court said that's unconstitutional. This is an affirmative seat. But senator is not an affirmative seat or is not meant for marginalized. So whether it is fair or not, can it pass the constitutional master test that you want to encumbrance to that extent somebody's right to run and people's right to vote, to that extent, yet you can also go for any seat. How about if you came from Senate, you made the rules, now you are going to be governor?
Yeah.
Can we also argue the same?
But can you separate people's personal preferences from what they do at a legal parliamentary level? Because these are human beings. We can't say that we're going to remove humanity from individuals as they're making these decisions. Because more often than not, a selfish, and not necessarily a bad thing, but a self-seeking behavior then will influence the decisions that you make, just based on what you said, Dr. That somebody who sits and say, well, okay, let's come up with this bill because I feel that somebody else needs an opportunity, or we're tired of looking at your face for the last 10 years. It all comes into play because of somebody's personal preference, which now may mushroom with other people's preferences. It doesn't fall out of the sky. It's human beings with feelings who are coming up with these things. So how can you separate that then from somebody's feelings or emotions? They are the ones who are coming up with these things to say it's not fair. Give somebody else a chance. Yeah.
And, or give us a chance.
So at that point, it's not... and the reason why they're looking for it to become legal is so that you have something to hold over someone and say you must. Because right now, you can.
And
but
you
we
are all
saying,
condemned.
Absolutely.
Wholesale without any proof. You know, the Constitution talk of equality of citizens.
Yes.
Are you now making others less equal in a way? Talk of non-discrimination and all those values. We have seen situations like, for example, if somebody was in IBC, the law say you cannot run immediately after. So there are situations that we have seen limitation of rights. You know, the Constitution also told the president you cannot be the promoter of an amendment. So there are offices that maybe once you have held or something you have done, but when you are serving, not after you have left the office.
Yeah.
You see, this is when they have left the office. In fact, what they could have done is to say, probably resign 6 months before. If you want to run for Senate, just like the public servants. Resign 6 months before. Then we can now prioritize to see whether you have issues. Of course, that will be pinching the governor a little bit, but so that you don't just transition from this seat, leave this one hot, and move to the other. I think, you know, and you are very good citizen and conscientious citizen. Look beyond the law.
Yeah.
That we have looked at the interest. But what really are they saying? Is it a political hygiene that I go to Homa Bay and because I'm a governor, I have a lot of privilege and benefits. Then I become the governor. When I leave, I cause somebody to take that governorship. I go to the Senate. Are we forming some little cabal? I think beyond the law, that is a fair discussion.
Extending a continuum, essentially.
And it's possible, isn't it? So you leave that governor, or you switch with your senator. You say, Mr. Senator,
you take senator, I take governor.
We have done very well. You have winked at some of my sins. I've also empowered you. Come. And is it also possible that this senator has an ambition of coming to the county,
Yeah.
and probably they're not part of your team because you have not done very well, or they have done their job so well in oversighting you that you are going to block them. You're not going to support them in their bid for governor, and then you are going to replace them. And therefore, they are going to find themselves, because the assumption is this. If you go to Kenya, senator seats are the least contested. In fact, you are easily becoming a member of it's harder to become a member of parliament than senator. Kenyans have figured this thing that there's no CDF there.
Yeah.
So every time I'm in Homa Bay, that's a seat people don't even campaign much. It's even women reps sometimes is hotly contested than the Senate, unfortunately. Now, in the process then, is there the governor seat is where every eye is. And once you have become a governor, you are a player here. You can organize your team. Is it political hygiene to leave this governor and then take the Senate and leave your person? But legally, what can we do?
Yes. Because, you know, how I'm looking at it is, if we're talking about accountability as being the reason why we would bar other people from running from office, then it would start all the way from, because now we're talking about ward fund. If MCS do have that, they have accountability issues as well to respond to how they spent this money. We have members of parliament and the CDF as well. How did you spend this money if you want to run for the position of governor? If you are governor, there are budgets that were given to you, right? Accountability question. So if you look at it, even when you're a member of parliament and you want to run for office, we will also as well ask you to stay out for 5 years before you run for office of president, because there are accountability queries that you need to respond to. Where then I still go back to my previous observation that to deal with accountability issues as we speak today, there are bodies that ought to do that. That if we want to address issues to do with corruption, it is in ensuring that EACC, ODPP, the entire justice system does their job when they are required, because we have budget cycles. We can come to you and ask you how you spent this money within the 12 months or within the 6 months. And if we have a problem with that, we see no reason of you
including being arrested.
Office, including being arrested.
Senate so nini that if you go to Senate, we cannot touch you now.
We cannot touch you. You know, so I think we have solutions already in the Constitution. What remains is implementation of that Constitution to ensure that accountability queries are answered in time.
But you see, this also will increase polarization between Senate and governors. Remember, there is somebody in between here. There is the voter. There is the Wanjiku. There is the sovereignty belongs to the people. There is the consent of the people. So this governor is becoming a senator through the consent of the people. And really, even if you look at the U.S., much of, do you know you cannot vote if you are felon, if you are a felon, but you can run. Yeah. So the standard of voting is higher than running. Their argument is this: when you pull me out from running, you are undermining the people's power to choose. They are the sovereign. You put me there with my stealing self and all that. The voters should do the vetting. They are the sovereign.
They should have a high moral standard, essentially, is what we're saying.
I don't want a thief.
Okay.
So it's not a job interview. There is voters that are going to determine the candidature of this governor. Isn't that a good measure? And fortunately, those voters are the very people that probably this governor stole from. Of course, we can say people are weak, people might be bought, but still, what are we saying technically? This is democratic space. There are voters. This governor is not going to come to Senate flying on a broom. They are voted, isn't it? So do we take the right of voters to vote for the person they want, because this person might have a case? Not only that, and that case will come after they are done. And not only that, they might interfere with that case. They have not interfered.
Yes.
And not only that, that they will be in the Senate somewhere where they'll be so powerful that there will be no discussion about it. When you look at it, then the argument and the urgency for the bill become less attractive, because then where do we stop? Tomorrow, and that's what happened. We had self-serving bills throughout. That's what's destroyed. Our independent constitution was very beautiful, by the way. But before we know it, they removed the Senate. Yeah. You know, that was through amendment. The Senate was removed. The things were changed. We moved from devolution. We had devolution at independent. It was removed. Kadu and all that was removed. We had multi-party. It was then moved to single party, KANU. So amendments can be very dangerous because it involves less people. It is less emotional. And so when people don't watch, people can sneak in things that can actually undermine the entire constitutional system and governance and skew it, because tomorrow something can happen if every county also come with a got you kind of bill.
You see, Dr. You've said something that is very critical, that at the end of it all, there is Monanchi's right to vote. There is also the candidate's right to be voted for. That at this particular point then, focus or rather conversations with Wananchi should be, who exactly are you voting into office? Because if you had a governor who stole from you and you voted them to be a senator, then the problem perhaps is not that individual. It is the voter who refuses to look at their responsibility in voting in individuals who would stick to the law. That despite the fact that there is an amendment here, let's look at the bigger picture. If we enable Monanchi, if Monanchi takes the responsibility and votes in the right people, then we don't need to mutilate the constitution further.
Yeah, and so you are disempowering the voters, isn't it? And why governors? Because that was the question.
Yeah.
A CS is very powerful. A CS now can move and be senator.
Yeah.
Will they not also have the same accountability issues that might rise from the blues? How about CEOs of these parastatals? How about the president? Or how about the deputy president? And all this, about PSS? Yeah? They will be, they are controlling a very big budget, probably even bigger than the governors. So the timing also might be suspect, because we are not visitors in Jerusalem. We know the context that happened, that there was bad blood. But to be honest, can you blame senators of being annoyed about governors? Because if you talk to most people, they are not very happy with the devolution. But they are. But it's very entrenched in the constitution, and so maybe the end will justify the means. If they can cheap it and annoy them a little bit, not legally, I'm not talking of its legality, but maybe its morality. Will you be sad if a governor is hurt a little bit?
So, I mean, and that's the thing, that you always ought to look for the smoking gun here, because what could be underfoot that would bring such a thing about if we already established that it is the voter who then must be held to a higher standard in terms of who is selected, and not necessarily the minority of the folks who are being selected in the first place. It's the majority who make the decision about the people who are going to come in and govern over people and resources, that then this attention ought to be paid to. But for some reason, we are looking at these few individuals who are chosen, and it's shenanigans of some. And that's why I go back to that point, that it was somebody feeling a certain type of way who has then said, well,
I got something.
I have something for you, and I'm in the position where I can legislate and raise a bill. And in this case, an amendment bill to say that, okay, thank you. You then, after 2 terms, you will sit out in the cold for 5 years. Now, if it had everything to do with the Constitution, then perhaps one would say, okay, this makes sense. But it does sound as though, as we come to this, that it's possible that somebody has a personal vendetta that they're then using constitutionalism to fight.
So you think it might be an elitist fight?
No, I think that it's just two folks, and it's possible that it could be extrapolated to the rest of the people who have a thing to put to each other. I think that it's very possible that somebody got ticked off at somebody else, or somebody wants to show somebody else something and has taken it to the floor. It's not the first time it's happened. It's probably not going to be the last time, because it's ammunition that you have in the chamber to then be able to stick it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, absolutely.
But you see, constitution is sometimes an elite consensus. So if they go through the process, let me ask you, if they go through the process, they get 2/3. It's a long process in the Senate. Then it has to go to National Assembly. Then they go through first reading, 90 days, second reading, third reading, and they get the 2/3. It has passed. And then it goes to the president to sign, because it does not require referendum. It's one of those issues that is not listed under Article 255 or that require referendum. Somebody might make some argument, but I don't see. So it can get away without referendum. So if it has gone through the legal process, it has ticked all the right boxes, it has been passed, then do you think court should have another chance of just saying, I don't like this bill?
No, but what I'm saying is this, that I think that these mediums are used in the direction where it may sound like I'm being facetious, but are unnecessary. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we saw bills that demanded of the legislature and those who spend money to insist that what you tell people, for example, in a manifesto, that you must rally your soldiers to ensure that the money is allocated for those things and that it is actually done. When is the last time that we saw somebody standing up on the floor of the House sponsoring a bill that ensured that the money you put towards a budget for, I don't know, education is seen to the last coin? When did somebody stand up on the floor and say, I propose a bill today that says 70 billion shillings over the last 5 years did not actually go to schools? I insist that until and unless we find where that 70 billion shillings went to, not another coin will be spent on something else. Why don't we see bills like this? But this one we see that, somebody pissed somebody off somewhere. And so now let us put a bill that says this person can no longer be in a position of leadership for 5 years. My issue here is that there's misdirected energy away from the things that will actually make a difference in the country.
But let me play the devil's advocate.
Play on.
What is called the holy anger. So not all anger are bad. Not that every time institutions fight, sometimes they want to benefit. Sometime. So their fight is not necessarily bad for the people.
No, but it doesn't help anybody anyway.
No, if I'm mad at you, then I'll make sure you don't steal. At least from the beginning. I'm mad at you. I cannot drink your tea. I'm checking you very hard to see where you have taken the money. Then who benefits through that? So is this anger? Can this anger by itself, maybe anger against corruption, maybe anger against the failure of devolution?
Oh, come on, Dr. Ojwang. That is rarely the fight.
Isn't that a good anger?
It's a good anger, but if that was the case, it would be great. But it just doesn't exist.
But that's a theological question. You cannot know. You cannot be so
How many times do people, look at this. It's very clear that somebody is obviously trying to stop another somebody from being in the political sphere for a while. It is not all governors.
Not all political sphere.
It is not.
They can run for...
not all governors. But there's a reason...
They can run for president.
But there's a reason why they're saying, oh, come on. There's a reason why they're saying, this person who was governor, we don't want them to run for Senate. For Senate. Why didn't you say
for Senate and National Assembly?
Yes.
I didn't understand also National
Exactly.
Assembly.
So why didn't they say this person
who has run for office
anywhere?
Any office.
Because they are
occupy any public office.
Exactly.
Because they're trying to balance according to the bill, isn't it? They're trying to balance. The Constitution is saying rights can be limited, but you must look for the least restrictive way of limiting it. It must be for good intention, and so the question then we have raised it here is this the least restrictive way of balancing those rights, assuming that it is fair to say, when you are here and we are looking at your case, we might look at your case. Not that we are looking, we might look at your case. It will not augur well. But is this the least restrictive way
of doing it?
Could there be other ways, including amending your standing order and saying, if somebody comes from the county, you cannot chair a park? No, thank you. You cannot be in these committees because your issue might rise here. So there could be least restrictive way. But somebody must use the tools they have. So if legislation is the tool I have, they're saying if you have a hammer, everything will be a nail. So if I have legislation, then I will. And at the end of the day, how do I get the fear of God in these governors who have refused to come and answer important question on how they have used one?
Sure. So maybe this is the hammer that was going to nail the thing and say, perhaps then you guys need to come and answer questions about how you spend resources. That there's always this was a means to an end, and perhaps the end has been achieved. This is why we talk, for us to then be able to look deeper into some of these things and to understand what exactly is going on. It'll be interesting to see how far this goes, but necessary. Public
participation will come.
Of course.
And there will be other processes, including governors will give their opinion. And you can bet that it will end up in court. Maybe not so much the method, but whether the substance. Because can I come with a bill to say from today I've suspended rights? Because can any amendment be constitutional? Not necessarily. Finally, laws are not made in parliament. Laws are made with the people. So laws must come from the people. We have this notion that laws come from Senate or National Assembly. Laws come from the people. Laws is the spirit of the people. So is this bill
the spirit of
from the people or from somebody?
Good question. Dr. Duncan Ojwang, thank you for being with us this morning. That's the question at the end of it, isn't it? Is this from the people? Good morning, 9 a.m.
The latest news from around. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.